Welcome back to the Nottm podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is our weekend predictions, weekday 4 in the Premier League. We're going to be diving into every game and giving you our predictions. Game 1, Luton Town take on West Ham United. Luton Town at home. West Ham have been in very good form actually this campaign. They lost Declan Rice. We thought they would actually retard a little bit, but they've done very good business. And James Ward-Prowse so far is my signing of the summer. I think West Ham will be alright in this game. They beat Brighton last week 3-1. That was kind of a miracle, and I still think they will go on to that good run. David Moyes is a very good manager, and I don't see Luton Town actually stop them. They don't have the power, they don't have the resources. West Ham should be alright. If you're betting this game, I think it should be an over 2.5 and West Ham to win 4-1 away from home. West Ham are still good. They brought in Mohamed Kudus as well. They're having a very good window, and keeping Lucas Paqueta is one of the signings of the summer. They've just done it for themselves. West Ham 4, Luton Town 1 on Friday. Next on Saturday is Manchester City up against Fulham. Fulham, of course, did get that big result against Arsenal on Saturday last weekend. Now they travel to Manchester City. It's not a brainer. They are going to lose this one. But I think Manchester City, they have a problem this campaign, and that problem is going to be creating chances and scoring goals. Ilkay Gundogan, of course, is gone. Riyad Mahrez is gone as well, and Kevin De Bruyne is out for a very long time. So how do they cope with that? It's going to be a very, very big question. They've signed Matthias Nunes from Wolverhampton Wanderers in a deal that will cost them about 60 million euros. That's not a bad deal, but in my opinion, they need a more great player than Matthias Nunes. But of course, the signing I like from Manchester City in the last week or so is Jeremy Doku on the right-hand side. He can play on the right wing, on the left wing as well. He's a very explosive winger. So, in my opinion, I think Manchester City will win this one 5-0. I think we might see Fulham being disintegrated against Arsenal. Although they picked up that point, although they a little bit stood together and got a result, I still think Arsenal were the better side. I still think possession wise, Arsenal had a huge chance of possession. I still think Fulham really struggled with keeping up with Arsenal. Eventually, yeah, they got that point, but against Manchester City, you don't have to keep up. You just have to be much better. And I don't think Fulham are at the level of Manchester City. So 5-0 for Manchester City. This could be the opening game for Manchester City where the floodgates actually open. Sheffield United take on Everton. Everton are winless in the Premier League this campaign. This is match day 4. This is where I expect them to change their odds. Now, for me, I really trust in Sean Dyche. I love him as a manager. I've always believed in him. And I always thought that Burnley made a big mistake by sacking him. This is the game that Sean Dyche actually proves his mastery of the Premier League. This is the game that Everton have to win. I don't see any other result. I think Sheffield United at home, they will put in a fight. They're not a bad side actually, as compared to the worst sides we've had in the Premier League. So I expect them to put up a fight, probably score even in this game. Sheffield United 1, Everton 2. That will be my prediction. I think Everton from this game, they will start picking up momentum and they will start picking up some good results along the way. So Everton 2, Sheffield 1, Everton away from home. My problem with them still is they don't have that reliable goal scorer. They don't have that reliable goal source, and therefore they are struggling. So like so many other teams in the Premier League. But Everton should be alright in this game. Next up is Chelsea up against Nottingham Forest. Chelsea did beat Luton Town 3-1. Raheem Sterling was on fire. I actually didn't have him in my FPL, but I think I should include him in my squad. My problem with Chelsea is that lack of coordination. You look at them, they look like a side that is not training together. They have a lot of quality, they have a lot of talent, and I think Mauricio Pochettino slowly but surely will make sure that they get there. It's not going to be in 1 week, it's not going to be in 1 month. It's going to take some time to build the relationships, to build the understanding, the rapport between these players, and of course to get a system that can actually accommodate all the huge signings and all the big money signings they've made. Now, they've signed Cole Palmer. That is one of the signings that I think Chelsea have made, and it makes a lot of sense. Enzo Fernandez is not your real creative player. Yes, he does create chances, he's very brilliant on the ball, but you need that kind of brilliant player that can create chances from deep in the midfield, from actually in advanced areas in the midfield, and that is Cole Palmer. 40 million euros, that's a good deal in my opinion. That's a very, very good deal. So Chelsea take on Nottingham Forest. I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw between these two sides. Stephen Cooper's Nottingham Forest look very good this campaign. They came at the Emirates Stadium. They actually did put in a fight, and Arsenal won that game by, just like a whisker. And all the games we've seen them, this campaign, they've looked a little bit good. They went to the Old Trafford last weekend. They lost 3-2, but the fact that they led that game 2-0, that just shows you how good they are and how good and how improved they are actually becoming. Now, they're looking at a couple of signings in midfield, including Ibrahima Sangare. That would be a nice one just to make sure that they consolidate that midfield, make sure they don't give away any chances and spaces for teams like Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United that love to play the both of the midfield. I think they will be all right, Nottingham Forest, this weekend, 2-2 against Chelsea. Chelsea will not win this game, and of course it comes back to Disasi, it comes back to the back line. Chelsea need a real important centre-back signing, and if they could get a player probably like Bella Kocha, who's going to go to Borussia Dortmund, that would have been a very nice signing. But I still say Nottingham Forest will come at the Stamford Bridge, pick up a point, 2-2, and Chelsea after this game, after the break, they will actually be all right because the manager will have more time with his players, and that will actually be a big problem for many Premier League teams. Burnley take on Tottenham Hotspur. Burnley are one of the teams that we expected to surprise us, give us a good run, give us some good football, and I think they've done that to some extent. The problem now is winning games. Can they get their first point? Can they get their first 3 points in the Premier League? This is the weekend. At home, Burnley will beat Tottenham Hotspur 1-0. And that's a very huge, brave statement to say for me, for a club like Tottenham Hotspur, who are actually doing very well this campaign. They've already beaten Manchester United 2-0. Their ball under Ange Postecoglou is absolutely flying. But I don't see them win this one. I don't see them actually get to win this one. It's one of those games where your striker will be very crucial. It's one of those games where you might need your Harry Kane, you might need your Richarlison. Is Richarlison ready to lead Tottenham Hotspur this campaign? In my opinion, absolutely not. So 1-0 for Burnley. If they can protect the goal line very well, if they can protect James Trafford in the post very well, they will actually keep a clean sheet and they will win this game 1-0. Burnley should be one of the clubs that actually give us a very good run for our money. I think this season, the surprises should be Burnley and Crystal Palace. Expect Crystal Palace to have that kind of crazy run. Expect Burnley to have the unexpected crazy run as well. Brentford take on Bournemouth, of course, at the GTEC Community Stadium this weekend. Now, Brentford look shambolic, but they pick up points. Bournemouth this campaign look proper, but they don't pick up points. Actually, we're looking at two sides of the coin, one side being the opposite of the other. My problem with Bournemouth is they've just forgotten their philosophy. They've just picked up a new philosophy, and it's gonna take them some time. The players, the style and everything for it to come around. But I think when it comes around, when it does come around, they will actually have a very, very nice season. For Brentford, losing Ivan Toney for quite some time is something that you cannot undermine. Obviously, you can't. And replacing him as well, yes, Wissa is getting the goals. Brian Bremer has already scored 2 penalties, of course. I think they've already done very well. You can give them a lot of credit for winning games, picking up points, even when their best player in Ivan Toney is actually not available. So Brentford won, in my opinion. Bournemouth won. I think Bournemouth are really very good defensively. They're very organized in midfield as well. And the new manager there has just made sure that Bournemouth are not a team that just give away points, right? I think they're going to become that consolidated, proper Premier League side. Now, Brentford, of course, you don't expect them to lose. They've been capitalizing a lot on mistakes by other teams. That is one thing that Bournemouth are not going to allow. That's one thing that we know Bournemouth will make sure you score a goal that you've earned. So 1-1 for me, Brentford a point, and Bournemouth a point as well. Brighton lost last weekend. They will be taking on Newcastle in this weekend. Newcastle have just been drawn in the group of death in the UEFA Champions League. We are waiting to see how that will actually roll up. Brighton, I don't have a problem with Brighton. The same problem I have with Arsenal. Goal scoring. That's my problem. At times, they create a lot of chances. At times, they waste those chances. For example, in the opening 3 fixtures, I think Nottm created more chances than than Brighton in the whole of the Premier League. But still, they are still not finishing off those chances. I still think they need a serious striker. Evan Ferguson is a very good one if they can give him the game time. But in my opinion, how about going out there and standing in the way and try to sign a player like Alexander Mitrovic? Brighton needs such a kind of a striker. They need a real talisman. But in this game, I don't see them beat Newcastle. Newcastle have just lost over the weekend. Last weekend, they lost to Manchester City. They want to bounce back. They will bounce back away from home to Brighton. I'm going to go Brighton 1, Newcastle 2. My problem with Brighton, they will still have to raise the level too high in order to beat the teams in the caliber of Newcastle, Arsenal, Man United, Manchester City. But the rest of the Premier League should actually watch out for Brighton this campaign. So Newcastle, I think the advantage, and they have to take this, is they will not play in the UEFA Champions League until later next month. So they need to clear out these fixtures. They need to pick up as many points as they can. And before they can actually, get that pressure from the UEFA Champions League, if they can collect about 20 points, that would be nice. That would be really, really nice for them. Crystal Palace take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers look very good, of course, under the new manager. Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson, it is between good and not good enough. Okay, I think they will be alright. Like I said in my predictions, I don't expect them to be a little bit, worried, but I don't expect them to exceed their level and potential as well. So with Crystal Palace, I think they'll lose this game. So Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. This one is a game where Wolves actually start their campaign as well. So they played very well against Man United. They lost that game. All right. My problem with Wolves is you've got to defend well in order to win Premier League points. You cannot score 4 and do not concede. And concede 4 as well. So they've got to defend well, and they have also got to take their chances. I do like the striker options they have in Sasa Kalajic and the rest, but they just need to create more chances, and they just need to take those chances. So in this game, I think Crystal Palace will struggle. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Crystal Palace 0. Liverpool take on Aston Villa on Sunday. Liverpool and Aston Villa has been a very, very interesting fixture. Of course, there's that fixture where Liverpool conceded 7-1 against Aston Villa, like back in the day. And this one, comes at a time when both clubs are not really good, but they are not bad. Liverpool, of course, last weekend, picking up that very, very vital win. I think it was against Newcastle, wasn't it? They did pick up that win, and the style and manner in which they did with a red card speaks volumes about what they will be this campaign. Newcastle, Aston Villa, they've got the Premier League season up and running. They lost that first game, and you couldn't blame them losing to Newcastle. After that, they've actually started playing very good football, and expect them to score a lot of goals. Moussa Diaby, Leon Bailey. They've got a very good front three, and they've got a very, very good manager. So Liverpool 4, Aston Villa 3. That is my crazy prediction of the weekend. Liverpool 4, Aston Villa 3. I don't see how Leon Bailey doesn't score. I don't see how Watkins doesn't score in this game. And I just don't see how Moussa Diaby doesn't score in this game. So I think they will score 3. But I tell you what, I don't see how they win at the Anfield. Aston Villa going to the Anfield to pick up 3 points, it's never heard of. It's unheard of. So 4-3 in favor of Liverpool. Darwin Núñez to score a brace. He's in my FPL, of course. And lastly, Arsenal take on Manchester United in the last game of the weekend. This is an iconic battle, isn't it? Iconic fixture. Both managers are really doing very, very well. Erik ten Hag is a tactician. Mikel Arteta is a tactician as well. You've got to watch this one. It's one of these games you've got to watch in the Premier League this weekend. I've gone Arsenal 3, Manchester United 1. And this is the reason Arsenal are looking to keep possession a lot this campaign. They're looking to also block the transitions as well. And I think Man United will score on the transition because they're literally set up to destroy any team on the transition. My problem with United is they're still really struggling to get the words of their manager and the instructions. I don't think Arsenal are there yet when it comes to what Mikel Arteta wants, how they're actually going to do it and all that. But eventually they will get there with time. Eventually they will actually become that team that every Premier League team is afraid of. So 3-1 for Arsenal. This could be the same scoreline, but in reverse, when Arsenal go visit Manchester United towards the back end of the season, if Manchester United would have become better by then. Let me know your Premier League predictions as well, and of course, I'll see you right in the weekend review after Sunday.